Street Ninja Audiobooks presents Rich Off RideShare Chronicles of the RideShare Trapper by Almighty Rambo. Chapter 1, $600 in a Day. Trey stared at the cracked ceiling above his twin mattress in his mama's guest room, eyes wide open, heart heavy. He was 26, dead broke, and had just pawned his PlayStation for gas money. No job, no plugs, just one last idea. He opened the Uber app on his phone. Need a car to start driving, get a rental today. 2 hours later, he was standing in a dusty parking lot on Crenshaw, signing a rental agreement for a black Hyundai Sonata. It wasn't luxury, but it moved, and more importantly, it was his. He tossed his duffel bag in the back seat, hit go online, and started driving. First night, 14 hours. South Central to Hollywood to Inglewood to DTLA and back again. Airport runs, drunk white girls, club hoppers, nurses, dealers, gamblers, hustlers. He drove like he was chasing the sunrise, like if he stopped moving, life would catch him and pin him back down. When he parked outside his mama's house at 6:12 a.m., his app said, "Today's earnings, $602.47. He stared at it for 5 minutes, then smiled for the first time in months. Chapter 2, locked in. The next day, he did it again. And again. 12 to 14 hours a day, no breaks, no clubs, no distractions, just hustle, gas station meals and Bluetooth podcasts, Lyft rides when Uber slowed down, tips stashed in the glove box like little secret blessings. By the end of his first week, $3,200. By the end of his first month, $11,890. He moved out of his mama's place and into a clean one-bedroom downtown. Got a better rental, a black-on-black Chevy Impala with leather seats. Bought a few new fits, designer belt, Jordan 1s. Got his teeth clean, even copped a .38 revolver from a cousin who knew somebody, just in case. This city different at night, Trey told himself. You pick up the wrong one, and you better be ready. Chapter 3, Women, Wheels, and Weed Smoke. Trey didn't plan on becoming a rideshare Casanova, but it happened. Fine girls would slide in his car late nights, drunk, flirty, bored. Some had man problems, some were models, some just liked how he played slow jams and kept his car smelling like Dior Sauvage. If the vibe was right, the ride didn't always end at their stop. Sometimes it ended at his crib. A baddie from Melrose leaving brunch ends up wrapped in his sheets by sundown. A makeup artist from Atlanta misses her flight home on purpose after a 2-day stay. A nurse from Glendale says, "I feel safer with you than with anyone else." It wasn't love, it wasn't deep, but it was a hell of a run. For 3 years, Trey stacked money, drove long nights, rotated girls, and built a lifestyle out of the back seat. He got a Rolex, a grill, upgraded to an Escalade through the Uber Black program, hit 6 figures annually with ease, clean, legal money. Chapter 4, The Mirror Moment. But by year 3, something shifted. The rides didn't hit the same. The girls started blending together. His closet was full, his bank account was strong, but his soul felt like it was driving in circles. He'd sit in that Escalade, parked on a hill with city lights twinkling below, and ask himself, what happens if the app shuts down? What if they deactivate me? What did I bill? He made $12,000 a month. That was real, but he didn't own nothing, didn't control nothing. The Escalade was leased, the apartment was rented, the life rented too. Trey knew one thing for sure. If somebody else gave it to me, they can take it from me. So that night he pulled out a blank notebook. On the cover he wrote in big black letters, "Build something that's mine." That was the night everything started to change. Chapter 5, The Pickup. Trey was your average hood Uber driver. Well, average for South Central LA. He had dreams, of course, music mostly, but for now the car was his hustle. He didn't ask too many questions. He kept his car clean, his trap music low, and his eyes on the road. It was a humid Friday night when the request came in. Brianna, 5 stars, luxury pickup destination downtown. He pulled up to a quiet corner outside a high-rise in Inglewood. She walked out like a scene from a music video. Long braids, flawless skin, designer heels clicking against the pavement. She had an energy like fire in slow motion. "You Trey?" she asked. "Yeah." "You Bree?" She slid into the back seat, her perfume hitting him like a soft slap. Dangerous, sweet and sharp at the same time. Where we headed? Downtown. Quick stop on the way, though, she said, tapping something into her phone. Trey didn't press. He hit the gas. Chapter 6, the call. They'd barely made it past Crenshaw when her phone rang. She glanced at the screen and her whole vibe shifted. Turn the music down, she said. Trey complied. Zay, she said softly. Even Trey could hear the panic in the man's voice on the other end. Baby, it's bad. I think my plug set me up. We got ambushed. 2 of my boys gone. I'm bleeding. I'm at the old spot on Hoover. I need you. Zay, don't move. I'm coming. She hung up and looked dead into Trey's rearview mirror. I need a favor. Trey blinked. What kind of favor? The kind that might get us both killed. Chapter 7, the detour. Brianna leaned forward, her voice low but urgent. Look, my man, Zay, he's hurt. He's at a trap house on Hoover, and it's hot over there. Cops, enemies, I don't know. I just know I can't go alone. Trey stared at her through the mirror. You saying you want me to drive into a war zone with you for a dude you in love with? She didn't blink. That's exactly what I'm saying. He exhaled hard, heart racing. His gut told him to say no, but something about her, maybe it was the fire, maybe it was that he'd seen too many good people get swallowed by the streets while others watched. Aight, but you owe me, and we move smart. She nodded. Deal. Chapter 8, Into the Fire. They rolled up slow to the location, a busted-up house with broken windows and a flickering porch light. The street was too quiet, the kind of quiet that usually meant the loud was coming. Stay in the car, she told him. Trey looked at her like she was crazy. Nah, if something go down, you gonna need backup. Brianna pulled a small Glock from her purse. You know how to shoot? Trey hesitated, then nodded. Let's just say I ain't rusty. They crept toward the house. Inside, Zay was slumped against a wall, a blood-soaked towel pressed to his side. He looked up, barely conscious. Bree, he whispered. She rushed to him. Trey scanned the room, shell casings, busted furniture, one of Zay's boys dead by the kitchen door. We gotta move, now, Trey said. Just then, headlights hit the front of the house. Shit, Brianna muttered. Back door, Trey barked. They made it out as chaos erupted. Trey helped carry Zay to the car. Tires screamed as they peeled off, the night swallowing them whole. Chapter 9, The Ride Home.
They rode in silence, the air thick with tension and old fear. Zay drifted in and out, Brianna holding his hand.
You didn't have to do this, she said quietly to Trey. I know, he replied, but something told me you was worth it. She looked at him through the rear view, eyes softer now. Maybe I am. Trey dropped them at a discreet spot near an underground clinic. No cops, no questions. Just the kind of place people like Zay went when hospitals weren't an option. As Brianna helped Zay out, she turned to Trey. You got a number? He smirked. You still with him, remember? Things change, she said, handing him a card. Call me. If you ever want out of Uber, I got connections. Trey watched her disappear into the shadows, heart still pounding. The streets were wild, but tonight he'd driven into the fire and came out alive and maybe into something more. Chapter 10, A Favor for Zay. 2 weeks passed. The streets still buzzed about the shootout on Hoover, but no one knew who was really involved. Trey kept his head down, back to Ubering. Sort of. His phone buzzed one afternoon with an unknown number. Yo, this Trey? A deep voice asked. Yeah, who this? It's Zay. Bree told me what you did. I owe you. I don't trust many people. You proved yourself. Trey didn't speak. I got a drop I need handled. Simple delivery. You up? Depends what I'm delivering. Just a duffel. Sealed. You take it to a dude named Rico Slick. Runs girls out in East L.A. He cool, loud, but loyal. You in? Trey knew the name. Rico had a reputation. Flashy clothes, pinky rings, gold teeth, and a stable of women. Half pimp, half street entrepreneur. Dangerous, but respected. I'm in, Trey said against his better judgment. Chapter 11, Rico Slick. The pickup was at a barbershop front near Limert Park. Trey grabbed the duffel heavy, no questions, and headed to East L.A., pulling into a gated warehouse with neon lights that blinked Slick House above the door. Rico met him outside, 6'3", purple mink coat in broad daylight and a cane he didn't need. Zay said you was solid. Rico grinned, puffing a cigar. He ain't wrong. Trey handed over the duffel. Rico peeked inside, nodded. Tell Zay we good. You got a clean vibe, kid. You drive like you got discipline. You Uber, yeah? Yeah, what of it? I could use a dude like you. These girls I run with, they need someone who ain't no perv, someone who can handle heat if it pop off. Think of it like private security, side cash. You interested? Trey paused. He didn't love the idea, but money talked, and this hood hustle was dry lately. Try me out, Trey said. One night. Rico smiled wide. I like you already. Chapter 12. Enter Nevaeh. First assignment came fast. A Tuesday night, Hollywood Hills. One of Rico's top girls, Nevaeh, needed escorting to a private party with some NFL types. She classy, Rico warned. Don't treat her like no corner chick. She's one of my high-ticket angels. When Trey pulled up, Nevaeh walked out like moonlight in heels. Slim frame, soft curls, caramel skin, and a sharp look in her eyes. You Rico's new chauffeur? She asked, eyebrow raised. You could say that. Well, don't talk to me unless it's business and don't get any ideas. Trey smirked. Noted. But the tension was electric. Chapter 13. Sparks on Sunset. The party was in the hills, filled with rich men trying to act gangsta and women trying to act like they weren't for hire. Trey stayed close, eyes on Nevaeh, who handled herself like a queen among wolves. When a drunk linebacker got grabby, Trey stepped in, calm, fast, and cold. She said no, he told the dude. The dude backed off, grumbling. Later in the ride home, Nevaeh broke the silence. Thanks for earlier. No problem. You don't talk much, huh? I talk when there's something worth saying. She smiled for the first time. Okay, philosopher Uber. He chuckled. You always this tough? Gotta be in this game. You ever want to be out? She paused. More than you know. Chapter 14. Crossing Lines. The next few jobs with Nevaeh felt different. She requested Trey every time. Rico noticed but didn't care. Money flowed, girls were safe, and Trey didn't slack. One night after a high roller gig in Beverly Hills, Nevaeh asked Trey to stop by a taco truck. You ever think about leaving all this? She asked between bites. Every damn day. What stops you? He looked at her. What's waiting on the other side? She stared at him long, soft. Maybe someone who sees you different. That night he walked her to her door. She leaned in. I know this world's twisted, she whispered, but I like the way you make it feel straight for a second. She kissed him, slow, gentle, then disappeared inside. Trey stood in the night, heart caught between loyalty to the streets and a girl trying to escape them. He didn't know what came next, but he knew he wasn't just Ubering anymore. He was riding into something deeper, something dangerous, and maybe something worth fighting for. Chapter 15, a new assignment. A few days after that kiss with Nevaeh, Trey's phone buzzed again. Zay, Trey, I got another run for you. Legit this time. Trey raised an eyebrow. What's the catch? No catch. Just picking up some weight from my dispensary on Florence. Shipment just got in from my grow farm out in Lancaster. I trust you more than these other fools. You got a clean face and a steady hand. Trey didn't hesitate. Send the address. He was starting to realize something. In Zay's world, there were only two types of people, liabilities and assets. And Zay was treating him like the latter.
Chapter 16. Smoke and Steel. Trey pulled up to Green Royalty, Zay's main dispensary, sleek, secured, and usually calm. But today, something was off. The front door was open, no security at the gate, not even a front desk clerk.
He stepped inside, hand drifting toward the Glock tucked under his hoodie. That's when he heard it, shouting in the back. Then came the bang of a pistol. Without thinking, Trey moved. He slipped down the hallway toward the back vault. Two masked robbers had a gun to one of Zay's managers, forcing him to open the safe where the pounds were stored. Trey didn't wait. Shots cracked, bodies dropped. Panic exploded into motion. One robber fell instantly. The other spun and fired wild. Missed. Trey fired again and clipped him in the leg. The man tried to run, but Trey tackled him hard, ending it right there. The pounds were untouched. Sirens could be heard in the distance, faint but growing like the city's heartbeat catching up. Trey snatched the manager's phone. Call Zay, now. Chapter 17, already handled. By the time Trey pulled into Zay's private residence in the hills, the duffel of weed in the trunk, he was still running hot from the adrenaline. Zay was outside, smoking a blunt and playing chess by himself. Like nothing in the world could surprise him. Trey stepped out. Yo, the spot got hit. 2 dudes armed. I dropped one, caught the other. Pound still safe. Zay barely reacted. He moved a knight on the board and exhaled slow. I know. Trey blinked. What you mean you know? Means you passed the test. Trey tensed. Wait, you set that up? Zay looked up amused. Hell no, but I knew something was going to go down. Had ears in the street. Word was some fools were plotting on one of my locations. I didn't know which one. So you sent me in blind? I sent you in because I needed to know if you had it in you to protect the business, not just move product. You more than a driver, Trey. Zay stood, walked over, and slapped a hand on his shoulder. I want you to be my transport boss, head of logistics. You run the pounds from the farm to all 5 dispensaries. That includes planning the routes, managing the drivers, and protecting the product. Trey was speechless. Zay nodded. You ain't just a piece on the board no more. You're about to be a player. Chapter 18, leveling up. By the end of the week, Trey was rolling different. Zay gave him a matte black Escalade with armored panels, clean tags, and a burner phone with contacts already saved. Farm lead, dispensary managers, private mechanic, and Nevia. He made his first official run that Friday, 60 pounds from a hidden warehouse in Lancaster to 3 dispensaries, smooth, efficient, no hiccups. The streets started whispering about the new face in Zay's operation, a driver turned boss. Some loved it, some hated it, but all respected it. Trey wasn't just surviving the ride anymore, he was steering it. And with every mile, every pound, every look from Nevia, he knew he was getting closer to something bigger. Power, freedom, maybe even love. But in this city, nothing came without a price. Chapter 19, The Quiet Passenger. It was a slow Wednesday evening. Trey had just wrapped a delivery run for Zay's operation and decided to log back into his Uber Black account to kill time before linking up with Nevia later that night. Ping. Pickup LAX. Terminal private. Destination the Four Seasons Beverly Hills. Rider L. Wells. Trey slid behind the wheel of his matte black Escalade, the paint gleaming under the low sunset like midnight oil. The man who entered his back seat didn't say a word. Tall, dark brown skin, clean gray suit, leather briefcase, no cologne, no jewelry, no entourage. Good evening, sir, Trey offered, checking the rear view. The man gave a slight nod. Evening. That was it. The ride was nearly silent the entire way. Trey noticed subtle things. The man didn't scroll his phone. He watched the city pass like it owed him something. When they passed through South L.A., he sat straighter. He noticed everything. As they pulled up to the Four Seasons, the man finally spoke. You from this part of the city? He asked, voice low and calm. South Central, born and raised. The man nodded slowly, then reached into his jacket and handed Trey a black business card. Langston Wells, Carrington and Wells Holdings. If you're interested in more meaningful driving work, he said, stepping out, call that number. Then he disappeared into the hotel. Trey stared at the card like it had weight. Something told him this ride wasn't random. Chapter 20, Langston's Shadow. A week later, Trey made the call. Langston Wells was a quiet storm. Billionaire, private, respected, owner of luxury developments, venture capital firms, clean energy plants, and quietly a majority stakeholder in several elite black-owned enterprises across the West Coast. When Trey arrived at his office, Langston's assistant said only, Mr. Wells is already expecting you. Langston stood at a floor-to-ceiling window when Trey entered. I don't talk much, he said, his back still turned, and I don't like noise around me, but I know when someone knows how to move. Trey didn't say anything. He let the silence breathe. I'd like you to drive for me, full time, personal, not flashy, not reckless, clean cut. You in? Trey nodded. I'm in. Langston turned finally. Good, your life's about to get quieter, but heavier. Chapter 21. The Party. 2 weeks into the gig, Langston handed Trey a sleek guest list and a route map. I'm hosting a private party. My guests need to be picked up and delivered discreetly. You'll be in the Bentley. No mistakes, no names. The night was elegant chaos. Glass towers, neon pools, whispered deals under rooftop chandeliers. Trey was sharp, wearing all black, gloves on, eyes scanning like he was born for this. Two riders that night stood out. Chapter 22. The Producer. Trey picked up Jay Vertigo from a studio off Melrose, a reclusive, legendary producer with a long beard, all denim, and a gold MPC chain. You play music? Vertigo asked mid-ride, voice raspy. Yeah, I write, produce a little. You got anything I can hear that ain't garbage? Trey cued a track from his phone. The beat was moody, hard but honest. Trey's voice like gravel and purpose. Vertigo nodded, eyes closed. You got pain in that voice, I hear it. You think it's good? I think it's real. That's better. Here's my number. Send me more. Chapter 23, Emma Carrington. His next pickup was outside the Chateau Marmont. She walked toward the car like she didn't care the world was watching. Emma Carrington, billionaire heiress, crisp white dress, long blonde hair, eyes that could slice through glass. Emma, she said casually, sliding into the back seat like she belonged there. Trey didn't need to ask her last name. Everyone in L.A. knew it. Her father, Douglas Carrington, owned buildings, blocks, and policies, including the projects Trey grew up in. You drive for Langston? She asked. Yeah. Interesting. He never trusts anyone. She stared at Trey in the mirror. You don't talk much, do you? I talk when there's something worth saying. She smirked. My dad owns half this city. Langston owns the other half. What do you want to own? Trey glanced at her through the rear view, not smiling. Myself. That made her quiet for the rest of the ride, but when he dropped her off, she leaned in. I like that answer, she said. I'll see you again. Chapter 24. Forks in the Road. That night, Trey drove back through the city with the windows down. He had Zay's trust, Langston's respect, Vertigo's curiosity, and now the attention of a girl born on a throne carved out of his neighborhood. Each lane he drove in belonged to a different world. He wasn't just carrying people anymore. He was transporting power, influence, and fate. And he was starting to realize he might be the one thing all of them needed. Chapter 25, Beats and Bloodlines. A few weeks after the party, Trey got a text from Jay Vertigo. Pull up. Got someone you need to meet. The address was to a private home studio tucked into the hills of Silver Lake. Inside, Trey was greeted by booming bass, the smell of Palo Santo, and framed platinum plaques lining the walls. Jay Vertigo stood by the boards, nodding to the beat. Next to him was a younger version of himself. Sharper jawline, fade crisp, gold hoops in both ears. He was piecing together a melody on an MPC with surgical skill. This my son, Miles, Vertigo said. Young genius, Ivy League dropout, better ears than me. Miles grinned and dabbed Trey up. You the one with the gritty-ass track Pops played? He said. That was pain music, I fwit. From that day on, Trey became family. Chapter 26, Build Something. Miles wasn't just smart, he was plugged in. Within a month, he helped Trey lease a raw industrial loft in downtown L.A., converted it into a boutique studio with floating panels, vintage synths, and a booth made of reclaimed church wood. They called it the Crate. I don't need no credit, Miles told him. Just bring me with you when you win. Trey started producing full-time. Beats for local artists, hooks for commercial spots, licensing for indie films. His Uber black hours went down, but his income doubled. The city whispered his name in the right rooms. Then came Key, a 19-year-old rapper from Long Beach who walked into the studio with fire in his chest and nothing to lose. Key spit 4 bars and Trey froze mid-engineer. You signed to anyone? Trey asked. Key shook his head. Just the streets. Signed to me instead. He started Midnight Line Records the next day. Chapter 27, The Call. It was nearly 1:45 a.m. when Trey's old work phone buzzed. Emma Carrington. They hadn't talked in weeks. Not since the party, not since the look she gave him in the rearview mirror. He answered. Trey, she said quietly, can you come get me? Her voice was small, vulnerable. Where are you at? A steakhouse in Westwood. My dad made me go on a date with this rich kid, one of those startup trust fund types. He just tried to impress me with a yacht he didn't build and a Rolex he didn't pay for. I'm on my way. Chapter 28, Hood Views and Honest Truths. She climbed into his Escalade like she was escaping prison. He didn't say a word, just drove. Where are we going? She asked eventually. My side of the city. They ended up parked on a dead-end street in front of a boarded-up apartment complex, once Trey's childhood home. Tags on the walls, burnt-out streetlights, a stray dog limped across the sidewalk. Her face softened. Your dad owns this, Trey said. Carrington Property Group. Been letting it rot for 20 years. We used to boil water in pots just to bathe. She stared at the building like it had slapped her. I didn't know. Trey lifted his shirt slightly, revealing a faded bullet scar near his ribs. This one? I was 17. Wrong place, wrong beef. Should have been dead. Jeez. I drive Uber because it gave me freedom. It let me stack $15,000 a month without flashing guns or grams. Met Zay through it. Met Langston. Met Vertigo. That car was my key to every door. She was quiet, then smiled faintly. You're not like anyone I've ever known. Trey reached into the back seat and grabbed a greasy pizza box. Want a slice? They ate under the amber glow of a broken streetlight, sharing stories between bites, passing a blunt back and forth like a secret. She asked questions, real ones, listened. For the first time, she wasn't the billionaire's daughter and he wasn't the hood Uber driver. They were just two souls drifting closer. When he finally pulled up to her gated mansion in Holmby Hills, she lingered in the seat, then leaned in and kissed him. Just once. Soft. Honest. Good night, Trey, she whispered. He watched her walk inside. Didn't need more than that. The ride was still changing everything. Chapter 29, The Kid in It was a regular Tuesday. Trey was Ubering again to stay low while Miles and Key finished up final mixes for the label's first release. He preferred it that way, quiet, clean, no questions. A ping lit up his screen. Pickup, Florence and Maine. Rider, TJ, 17. He pulled up in front of a corner store where a scrawny, hoodie-wearing kid hopped in. Thin, nervous energy, but his eyes were sharp. Where to, little man? Trey asked. Crenshaw and Jefferson, bro. Thanks. They rode in silence for a minute. The kid kept glancing at Trey's dashboard, especially the small Midnight Line Records keychain swinging from the mirror. You into music? The kid asked. Run a label. Produce. Drive to keep things moving. You, Trey? The boy asked, wide-eyed. I heard your track with Key. Trey chuckled. That's me. Damn. I'm TJ, by the way. I'm just trying to stay out the streets, but it's hard, you know? Trey gave him a long look through the mirror. You serious about work? About getting money without dying for it? TJ nodded quickly. More than anything, bro, I got two little sisters. Mom's strung out. I'm next up or we fall apart. Trey didn't say much, just nodded and texted two numbers. Chapter 30, The Setup. 3 weeks later, TJ was doing pickups for Zay's dispensaries and running errands for Rico's girls. Nothing major, safe routes, supervised moves. Trey kept tabs on him. Time passed, and then the call came. Chapter 31, The Warning. Trey was mid-ride, cruising past USC when TJ's name popped up. TJ, new kid, incoming call. He picked up, Bluetooth buzzing through the Escalade. TJ, urgent. Trey, yo, can we talk? ASAP, this ain't no small shot. Trey, breathe, young blood. You good? TJ, no, man, I was at Rico's spot, right? Dropping off that package. He ain't know I was still inside. I'm in the kitchen and I hear him on the phone. Trey, go on. TJ, he talking about Zay, bro. He said, and I quote, Zay been getting too powerful. He either becomes my partner or becomes a problem. We get rid of him and I'll take over the whole distribution line. Bro, they plotting to kill Zay. Trey's grip tightened on the wheel. Trey, you sure that's what he said? TJ, word for word, man, I ain't even finished the drop. I dipped. Trey, all right, sit tight. Don't talk to nobody else about this and stay away from Rico. TJ, you gonna tell Zay? Trey, not yet. Gotta play this smart. You did good, TJ, real good. Chapter 32, Nevia's Offer. A few days passed, and Trey kept moving, waiting, watching. Then another call came. Nevia, private line, incoming call. Never, quiet. Trey, I can't do it anymore. Trey, never? What's wrong? Never. It's Rico. He's getting darker. The way he talks to the girls now, the way he threatens people, I'm done. Trey, where you at? Nevia, safe. But listen, I've been managing his books. The adult business, it's legal, legit on paper. But I've seen how he operates. I know how to run it better, cleaner. Trey, you want out? Nevia, no, I want in. With you. Between your contacts, my knowledge, and what we've saved, we could start our own thing. Fully legit. Safe girls, no Rico. Trey leaned back in his seat. Trey, you sure about this? Nevia, I've never been more sure of anything. We can build something that ain't poison. Trey, then let's build, but quietly. Chapter 33, The Offer. Almost 2 weeks later. Trey was downtown near Skid Row doing a late-night drop for Langston's security detail when the call came in. Rico, incoming call. Rico, Trey, we need to talk. Face to face. You free now? Trey, depends. What's it about? Rico, opportunity. Trey pulled up to a private parking garage off Pico. Rico was already there, posted next to his matte gray S-Class, cigar lit, gold chain tucked under his silk collar. Trey, he said, nodding, come walk with me. They walked in silence for a minute before Rico spoke. You've been moving smart. I see how Zay trusts you, how Langston trusts you. Hell, even my girls speak your name like you Moses or something. Trey stayed quiet. Rico stopped walking. I want you to think bigger, he said, turning. Zay's good, but he ain't hungry no more. He's soft. He playing farmer now, giving second chances. That ain't how you run an empire. Trey squinted at him. What are you saying, Rico? Rico took a long drag from his cigar, then looked Trey dead in the eye. I need someone I can trust to handle the fallout. If Zay disappears, I can restructure everything. You'll run the whole transport game full control. I'll cut you in as a real partner. Trey stared at him for a long second. Trey, you're asking me to help you kill Zay? Rico blew smoke into the dark. I'm asking you to pick a side before someone picks it for you. Chapter 34, The Shot That Changed It All. Trey stared at Rico, the cigar smoke twisting in the air like a warning. Rico, I'm asking you to pick a side before someone picks it for you. Trey nodded slowly. Trey, you right, I'm in. Rico smirked, eyes gleaming like he just won the game. He threw a heavy arm around Trey's shoulders, pulling him close like family. Welcome to the throne, King, Rico said. But Trey's right hand was already moving. In a single silent motion, he slid his Glock from under his jacket. 2 shots. Rico dropped before the echo could finish bouncing off the garage walls. Trey turned fast. Rico's driver was already reaching. Gunfire cracked across concrete. Trey ducked behind a pillar, got clipped in the side. Another shot caught him in the thigh. Blood warmed his jeans, his vision narrowing, but he kept moving, kept fighting until the noise died. Then silence, and the kind of silence that feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Trey stumbled back, dropped to one knee, breathing ragged. He pulled out his phone. Text to TJ, Rico shot me, Ian dying, location attached. Then everything went black. Chapter 35, Blood to Loyalty. The next thing Trey saw was light breaking through cream-colored curtains. He blinked. The ceiling above him wasn't his. It smelled like cologne, ganja, and leather. Zay's bedroom. He turned his head. Nevea was curled up on the couch, hoodie over her head, clutching a throw pillow like a lifeline. Trey, weakly. What the fuck is going on? Nevea shot up so fast the pillow flew off the couch. Trey, oh my God, you awake? She rushed to his side, eyes wide, tearing up. You been out for 3 days. Zay thought you were done, man. Trey groaned. How'd I get here? TJ brought you. Said you texted him right before passing out. He drove you straight here. Trey looked down, his stomach wrapped in tight gauze, leg in a brace, stitched up like a story that refused to end. Never. Zay's been tripping, Trey. He told all of us to call him the second you wake up. She texted fast. He's downstairs. Chapter 36, Answers and Ashes. Trey hobbled down the stairs, one arm in a sling, leg dragging. Zay was by the fireplace, smoking something fat and serious. Black hoodie, no chain, no smile. His eyes found Trey like crosshairs. Zay, come sit down. Trey eased into the chair across from him. The silence between them was thicker than smoke. Zay, you got any idea what you did? Trey held the stare. Trey, I protected the kingdom. Zay's jaw flexed. Zay, you killed my right hand. My day one. My brother. Trey, he was planning to kill you, Zay. Zay blinked once. You got proof? Trey pulled his phone out. Hit play. TJ's voice filled the room. He talking about Zay, bro. He said, and I quote, Zay been getting too powerful. He either becomes my partner or becomes a problem. Trey let it ride. Zay didn't move. Trey, I record almost every call except yours and his, but TJ, that one I kept just in case. Zay stood, walked to the window, stared out for a long time like he was watching ghosts. Finally turned. Zay, you saved my life. Trey nodded once. Zay, and you did it quiet. No headlines, no heat. Trey, did what had to be done. Zay walked over, pulled Trey into a one-armed hug. Firm, heavy. Zay, I got love for you, Trey. Like blood. You moved like a king. Rico forgot where the throne started. Zay pulled back, eyes locked. Zay, you healed now? Good. 'Cause this next move is bigger than any of us. Chapter 37, The New Life. After Trey told Zay everything that happened the night Rico died, the room went quiet. Zay took a long drag, staring at the floor like it held answers. I wish you would have came to me first, Trey. Rico's family, they deep. His brothers ain't like him. They real killers. All of them. You just sparked a blood feud. That was a month ago. Since then, Trey had been laying low, recovering from 2 wounds and staying out of sight. Word moved fast. Everybody knew Rico was dead, and everybody knew Trey did it. But Zay didn't cut him off. They grew closer. Zay respected what Trey did, even if he hated how it happened. He saw the loyalty, the grit, the ability to handle business when the room got cold. While Trey healed, Nevaeh stepped up big. Under his instructions, she took some of her money and a chunk of his and made moves. They officially launched their adult entertainment company. The first big win was a high-end strip club that doubled as a topless brunch spot in the daytime. Exclusive, velvet rope energy. But it didn't stop there. They bought a 5-bedroom mansion in the hills set up for elites. Inside, private adult-themed parties with the best dancers in the city, catered to billionaires, celebrities, athletes, and shady politicians. Months passed. Money flowed. Trey was making more than ever. Legit and under the table. Life felt like it was finally taking shape. He and Zay were like brothers now. Nevaeh was pregnant. For the first time, Trey felt like he was building something that might last. Chapter 38, Mesa Al-Rami. One Wednesday afternoon, Trey did a few Lyft rides to keep his face clean and collect side cash. He picked up a ride request in Beverly Hills, high-tier Lux Black. The moment she stepped into his Escalade, the whole energy shifted. She was Arabian, thick in all the right ways, long curly hair, olive skin, big eyes, big boobs, and the fattest ass he had ever seen on a woman from that part of the world. Her white toes peeked out from expensive designer sandals. Her perfume smelled like heaven mixed with sin. She slid into the seat with grace and confidence. Her voice was soft, sultry. This car is beautiful, she said, looking around. You do Lyft full time? Trey smirked. Nah, just part time. Gotta stay moving, you know. Must be moving a lot to afford something like this, she teased, running a finger along the leather seat. Or maybe you're doing something else you're not telling me. He laughed, not giving away too much. I hustle, that's all I'll say. She smiled. Good, I like men who hustle, but smart men know how to protect their money. She reached into her purse and handed him a sleek black business card. Mesa Al-Rami, private financial strategist. Discreet wealth management for high net worth individuals. Call me. I help people turn money into legacy, and I don't charge pretty men like you. Her words dripped with flirtation, but it was the way she looked at him when she said it, directly in his eyes, like she saw through every layer, that made his chest tighten. She stepped out. He watched her hips sway as she walked away. Damn. He barely had time to process it when his phone rang. Langston lit up on the screen. Chapter 39, The Favor. Yo, Mr. L, what's good? Trey said casually, eyes still lingering in his rear view. Langston's voice came in low, calm but too calm. Trey, I need to ask a favor. Something I've never asked of you before. Trey sat up straighter. Langston was always composed, but this felt different. Anything, you know that. Just say the word. A pause, then, do you have your gun on you right now? Trey's heart skipped. Yeah, always. Why? Langston's voice dropped even lower. Good, because I need you to drive, and this one might change everything. It was almost midnight when Trey pulled the black Escalade up to the massive wrought iron gates of Langston's estate in the hills. The air was unusually still, and Trey had a tight feeling in his chest. Something about that call had his instincts on edge. Langston was waiting at the bottom of the front steps, dressed sharply as always, pressed slacks, dark overcoat, polished shoes, but something was off. His normally stoic expression was cracked. His jaw was tight, his eyes restless. Trey leaned over and pushed the passenger door open. Oh, where to, Mr. L? Langston got in without a word, closing the door softly behind him. For a moment, the car was quiet, save for the low hum of the engine. Drive, Langston said finally. Anywhere out the city. Somewhere we can talk. Trey nodded and pulled off. 15 minutes later, they were parked on a quiet overlook facing the skyline. Langston lit a cigarette, something Trey had never seen him do. You good? Trey asked, side-eyeing him from the driver's seat. Langston exhaled slowly, then spoke. My daughter's been kidnapped. Trey blinked, the words hitting like a gut punch. What? They took her this morning, snatched her right outside her apartment in the Grove. I just got the message 30 minutes before I called you. Langston handed Trey a burner phone. On the screen was a photo of a young woman, mid-20s, olive complexion, long black hair, taped mouth tied to a metal chair, fear in her eyes. What do they want? Trey asked, jaw clenched. Langston looked out at the city lights. They haven't asked for money. They want something I stole a long time ago, back when I was laundering money with a man named Yusuf Bashar. He's Syrian, runs his own network now. Dangerous, quiet. Has men inside LAPD, City Hall, private security firms. If I go to the police, they'll know instantly. And they'll kill her. Trey's voice was low. You trust me with this? Langston looked him dead in the eyes. You're the only person I trust right now. Everyone else is either on his payroll or too scared to move. I need someone with street sense, calm under pressure, and no ties. Trey nodded slowly. Then let's get your daughter back. Langston's team traced the phone signal from the photo to an abandoned warehouse near the docks in Long Beach. Private lot, secluded, 8 guards minimum, well armed. Trey and Langston prepped in silence, parked a few blocks away. The whole city felt like it was holding its breath. They went in quiet, slipping past broken gates into dim hallways that smelled like rust and sea air. They moved through shadow and tension until they found her. Room 11B, locked from the outside. They heard her crying. Trey cracked the door. Inside was Langston's daughter, taped, bruised, shaking. We're here to take you home, Trey whispered. Langston ran in behind him, emotion breaking through him. Baby girl, I'm here. Then the noise came, shouts, footsteps, panic. The building woke up angry. They fought their way back into the night and into the Escalade, peeling off with the kind of speed you only drive with when you can't afford to lose. Back at the estate, security surrounded them as Trey pulled through the gate. Langston turned to Trey before stepping out. You saved her life. You saved my life. I don't even know how to thank you. Trey kept his eyes forward, engine still running. I didn't do it for thanks. You said you trusted me. I moved on that. Langston nodded, overwhelmed. I owe you, for real. And I always pay my debts. Trey gave a half smile. I'll remember that. Langston squeezed his shoulder, then helped his daughter inside. Trey sat there a moment longer, watching the mansion lights flicker on. Another night. Another world. Then this one felt heavier. Chapter 40, Slip of the Tongue. Saturday night, 3:04 a.m. Trey sat in the driver's seat of his matte black Escalade, leaned back with both RideShare apps open on his phone. The city glowed with post-club chaos, drunk crowds, girls limping in heels, and flashing neon. Since starting the adult entertainment company with Nivea, weekends had become prime recruiting time. Late night riders were often dancers, bottle girls, party types, people looking for more money or better management. Trey didn't pressure. He observed, offered, let his reputation speak. A ping lit up his screen. A pickup 3 minutes away. Name Giselle. Trey pulled up outside a ratchet little strip club on the edge of the city. The neon sign buzzed overhead as a thick, curly-haired girl stormed out, heels in hand, tight dress hugging a small, furious frame. She yanked the door open and dropped into the passenger seat, still breathing heavy. Fuck that place, man, she snapped. Swear to God, I'm about to put hands on somebody. Trey glanced over, amused. Rough night? Rough month, she muttered. Manager's on bullshit 'cause I slapped that weak-ass girl he's screwing. Now he cutting my set short, playing my money. Got me fucked up. She rolled her eyes and looked over at him. You ever work for snakes? Trey smirked. I used to drive full-time, lot of snakes in the back seat. That got a chuckle. I'm Trey, he said, switching off the Uber app. I run a different kind of club, one that don't play with dancers' money. Ain't no managers sleeping with the girls either. My girl run half the ops. Giselle narrowed her eyes. You for real? Dead serious. It's topless in the daytime, strip at night, and private parties for high-end clients. You keep most of your money, you in control. We just provide the space, security, and clientele. She looked at him like she couldn't believe her ears. You got a card or something? Trey handed her one with a black rose logo and his name. Text that number if you're serious. 1 month later, Giselle became a top earner. She brought energy, attitude, style. Clients loved her. One Thursday evening, Giselle texted Trey, Yo, I got this friend I real bad, think she'd be perfect. Can I bring her to the club tonight? Trey replied, Bring her. Later that night, the friend showed up. Sierra, light brown skin, tattoos peeking from her neckline, waist-length straight hair, thick body with a tiny waist, calm energy, serious tone, the kind of girl who wasn't there for attention, she was there for business. She talked with Nevia, got the rundown, asked smart questions, and within 30 minutes agreed to work. 3 weeks later, Sierra's apartment. Sierra was curled up on the couch with her boyfriend, Dre, flipping through Netflix. He sipped Casamigos, eyes half on the screen, half on her body. You really like working at this club, huh? He asked. Sierra smiled. Yeah, they run it tight. The main girl boss, Neva, she cool. Her and her man, Trey, they run the whole thing. Dre sat up. Trey? Yeah, dark-skinned dude, fine, quiet, real smooth. He cool, though. All business. Dre's eyes went cold, though Sierra didn't notice. Trey who? He asked, and she shrugged. I don't know. They just call him Trey. He leaned back in his seat, nodding slowly, masking the storm behind his stare. Word. He kissed her on the cheek. I'm glad you got a good setup. But inside, Dre was boiling. Because Dre wasn't just Sierra's man, he was Ricardo Santiago Sr., Rico's older brother, oldest of the Santiago trio. And just like that, the mystery of who killed his baby brother was gone. Now he had a name, a face. And it was a man running clubs, riding around town, sleeping peacefully. That piece was about to end. That's all for part 1. Part 2 dropping soon.